Good morning, children. Can you remember which lesson I was taking in the previous class? Yeah, wind, storm and cyclones, isn't it? Now, that is the 9th chapter. Let us start with the 9th chapter, that is soil. So, yesterday I had given you all few questions to write the answers. So, now, are you Now today first let us discuss a little part which was left over in the last lesson, then we'll continue with the lesson. Okay, in that I had not told you the precautions to be taken if a storm is accompanied by lightning. So what are the precautions to be taken if a storm is accompanied by lightning? So the first precaution is do not take shelter under an isolated tree. Yeah, when lightning will be there, you should not take the shelter under the tree. If you are in a forest, you must take shelter under a small tree. Do not lie on the ground. So these are the precautions. First one is you should not shelter under an isolated tree. Then if you are in the forest, you have to take shelter under a small tree. Then do not lie down on the ground. The next precaution is do not take shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end. And the next precaution, you should not take an umbrella and stand to take the shelter. This is also not safe for you because of the metallic end. The next precaution is do not sit near a window, open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds, which are not safe places to take the shelter. So usually when it rains, when lightning and all takes place, usually what we do, we run where the place is there to protect ourselves from this rain and all. So what you have to do is we should not sit near the window and also the open garages, then storage sheds, then metal sheds. These are not the safe places to take the shelter. So what you have to do is you can take the shelter in a car or a bus, which is a safe place to take the shelter. And supposing if you are in water, you should get out of the water and go inside any building to take the shelter. So these were a few precautions when the storm is accompanied by lightning. So please do remember this. Then next was how to protect from tornadoes. I had taken what are tornadoes. So in our country they are not very frequent, these tornadoes. So what is a tornado? A tornado is a dark funnel shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground, I had told you. Most of the tornadoes are weak, isn't? In the last lesson I had told you, isn't it? A violent tornado can travel at a speed of about 300 kilometers per hour. So now here, how to protect from the tornado? The diameter of the tornado can be as small as meter and as large as kilometer. So tornadoes may be small also and tornadoes may be large also. So if it is small, it may be a meter, and if it is large, it may go up to kilometers or even wider. The funnel of the tornado sucks dust, debris and everything near it at a base because of the low pressure. So what are the debris here? Scattered or the broken pieces or rubbish, whatever. After this thing, air, wind and all, you can see when it rains and all, no, you can see these things scattered or the broken pieces or the things in the soil, and throws them out near the top. Here are a few accounts of survivors of the tornadoes. So here we'll study about the people who had survived from the tornadoes. This has been taken from the Discovery channels, that is Young Discovery series. So I saw the cloud coming and tried to make shelter inside. But as soon as I reached for the dark doorknob, the house took off into the sky. So once, as they saw the cloud coming, a person tried to take the shelter inside. But as soon as he reached for the doorknob, the house took off into the sky. I was not hurt at all. After the storm, we had to clean the debris from the wheat fields. So how he felt after the storm, that they have to clean the fields and all. Why? Because everywhere broken pieces, rubbish and all was fallen down. And how it was, we picked up splintered boards and tree branches as well as dead chickens with their feathers blown off, and rabbits looked like they had been skinned. So what did they find? They find that the tree branches were broken and fallen down, and even the dead chickens' feathers were there. Chickens were dead, but their feathers also were out of their body. Their feathers were almost blown off, and the rabbits looked as if they had been skinned. Means only the skin was seen, not the feathers or the upper layer of the skin. A tornado shelter is a room situated deep inside or underground, having no windows. So where you have to take the shelter when the tornado takes place? You have to take place in a room deep inside or underground where there are no windows, or otherwise it is better to shut the windows and take shelter under the table. So if you are inside, if you have the windows, then you have to close all the windows and take the shelter under the table or the workbench where debris cannot reach. Means where all the scattered or the broken pieces and all cannot reach you or fall on you. One has to bow down on knees, protecting head and neck using arms. So what you have to do is you have to bow down to your knees, protecting the head and neck using the arms. So this you can see it on the page number 89 in your textbook, how to protect from tornado. And on page number 87 you have the precautions to be taken if a storm is accompanied by lightning. So this was the last chapter, wind, storm and cyclone, which has to be completed, these two things. Now let us continue. Okay, now can you tell me what are the natural resources? So natural resources are those resources which are given by the nature to us. Among that, soil is one of the natural resource. Even water, this is also the natural resource. So now today we are going to study about the natural resource, that is the soil. How soil is useful to us. So let us start with the introduction first. So first, soil is one of the most important natural resources. Then it supports the growth of plants by holding the roots firmly and supplying water and nutrients. It is the home for many organisms. So what are the uses of soil? It supports the growth of plants. How? By holding the roots firmly and supplying water and the nutrients which are required for the plants to grow. And it is also the home for many organisms such as ants, earthworms, etc. Soil is essential for agriculture. Yeah, you might be knowing that where the soil is good or the soil is fertile, there only the crops can be grown. So soil is essential for agriculture. How agriculture is useful? Agriculture provides us food, clothing and shelter for all living organisms. Soil is thus an inseparable part of our life. So soil is very important in our life. The earthy fragrance of the soil after the first rain is always refreshing. You might have seen after many days, that is after the summer, when it rains, when it is too hot, when you see it, what happens when it rains? You can smell the soil smell, you can sense it and you feel it refreshing, isn't it? You go out, see it, and then you enjoy that fragrance. So earthy fragrance of the soil after the first rain is always refreshing. So now the first activity which we are going to start is collect some soil samples and observe them carefully. You can use a hand lens. Examine each sample carefully and fill it in table 9.1. discuss your observations with your friends. Are soil samples collected by you, by your friend, similar to the ones collected? So here you have to do the activity. So what is that activity which you are going to do is, in your textbook on page number 98, you have the activity 9.1. So what you have to do, you can see it in the picture, it is shown that like this, you have to collect the soil. From where all you have to collect? You have to collect from the garden, then you have to collect from the roadside, and you have to collect the soil from the construction, where the construction is going on. And after that, what you have to do is, you have to discuss your observation with your friends and see that whether the soil samples collected by you and your friend are similar. So this you can do it at home. Nowadays you all are at home, you can collect the sample and see it. So now you have the table here, 9.1. So just I'll show you 3 soil sources, remaining 2 you all can do it. So now here you see in the table, complete the below table. That is first serial number, then you have, here you have the soil source, here you have plants, animals and any other observations. So first we have taken the garden soil. So here what type of plants you can see? Grass, flowering plants and the vegetables. And the animals here are ant, insects and the earthworm. So what did you see here? What color soil did you see here? Black color. Then when you have collected the soil from the roadside, here what type of plants? Grass. Then animals, ants and insects. Then what color you have observed here? It is brown color. Then in the third one, soil from the area where the construction is going on. Can you see there any plants? No. Any animals? No. Then what type of soil can you see there? Sandy soil you can see it. Soil which is mixed with the sand is called as sandy soil. Now, you might have seen the polythene bags and the plastics. What they do? They will pollute the soil. So how the soil gets polluted? So the soil gets polluted by the polythene bags and the plastics. So when you walk on the road or anywhere, you can see so many polythene bags as well as the plastic things, bottles and all thrown here and there. So what they do? They also kill the they kill the organisms living in the soil. That is why there is a demand to ban the polythene bags. So nowadays they have completely banned. That means they are asked not to use the polythene bags because people use it and throw wherever they want it on the way. Polythene bags as well as the plastics. So there was fine also, isn't it? So now what we are using? We are using the paper bags or we are using the bags which are made up of cloth, and we are not at all using the plastics. Other substances which pollute the soil are a number of waste products. So not only the polythene bags and the plastics will pollute the soil, other than that the soil is polluted by the waste products, that is chemicals and the pesticides. So usually the farmers, what they do, the crop should not be spoiled, so they spray the pesticides. So what happens by that? The soil gets polluted. Then waste products and the chemicals should be treated before they are released into the soil. So even the waste products and the chemicals, they should be treated before they are released into the soil. The use of pesticides should be minimized. So if they minimize the use of the pesticides, then the soil won't get polluted. So here there are 3 things which we have learnt, that is how the soil gets polluted. One is it gets polluted by polythene bags and plastics. They'll pollute the soil. Next, what happens by that? They kill the organisms which are living in the soil. So only we should not use the polythene and the plastics. Other substances which pollute the soil are the waste products such as chemicals and the pesticide. So these waste products and chemicals should be treated before they are released into the soil. Then the use of pesticides must be minimized. So here these are the points which you have to remember, how the soil gets polluted and how it can be avoided. You all also play in the soil, isn't it? When the game, we go for the games period and all in the school, what do you do? What you all do in the games period when you go? Many children we have seen in the school, isn't it? Throwing the mud on each other and playing it. They are small children usually will be tempted playing in the mud, and they make the things also, toys and all, using the soil. So let us study in this which type of soil is used for making the toys with the help of soil. So now first let us study soil. It forms, what is soil? It forms the upper surface of the earth where life thrives and is the base of all the agriculture. So what is soil? It forms the upper surface of the earth where life thrives and it is the base of all agriculture, means where all the crops are grown. Due to the physical and chemical weathering of rocks, it compromises of minerals and gravel, microbes, insects, decaying organic matter, humus, nutrients, water and air. So what all this soil contains? It contains the minerals, gravel means small stones, microbes, insects, decaying organic matter, humus, nutrients, water and air. So here you can see it in the picture, some of the things. Next, how soil is formed. Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth's surface. It is formed by the breakdown of rocks over thousands of years by the process called weathering. So how soil is formed? It is the uppermost layer of the earth's surface and it is formed by breaking down the rocks. Big stones will be broken down into small pieces and it is not very easy. It takes thousands of years. So this is done by what? By the process called as weathering. Now let us study what is weathering. Weathering is the process of breaking down rocks into small particles by the action of wind and water, change in temperature and penetrating roots of plants. So now what is weathering? So weathering is process where this rocks will be broken down into the small pieces. How they are broken down? By the action of wind, water, then change in temperature and because of the penetrating roots of the plants. Now weathering we have seen. Now let us read about the types of weathering. There are 3 types of weathering. One is physical weathering, another one is chemical weathering and the last one is biological weathering. Now let us study first what is physical weathering. The breaking down of big rocks into small sized rock particles with the help of agents like wind, water or change in temperature is called as physical weathering. Just now we had read about the weathering also is same, and in this physical weathering means here also the big rocks will be broken down into small stones. How? With the help of agents like wind, water or change in temperature. So this is called as weathering. Now next is chemical weathering. Can you see in the picture here? Yeah, chemical weathering means changes the chemical nature of the soil. When rainwater mixed with the gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere, it forms acid rain. So in the last chapter we have studied about what is acid rain. When the rain is mixed with the gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere, it forms the acid rain. So when acid rain falls on the surface of the earth, it makes the soil slightly acidic. Yeah. So when acid rain is there, it mixes with the earth, isn't it? And it makes the soil slightly acidic. So this is called as the chemical weathering. Means changes the chemical nature of the soil. When the rain or the chemicals are mixed with the soil, it becomes acidic. So here you can see this is physical weathering and this is chemical weathering. Now what is biological weathering? You can see the picture clearly here, isn't it? These here how the plants are grown on the rocks. The roots of the trees and the burrowing of the animals inside the soil bring about this type of weathering. Roots of the trees and the plants grow through the rocks, contributing to weathering. So from in the stones only, like this, the roots of the trees and plants grow through the rocks and contribute to weathering. So here one big rock, this is a rock. So here it is divided into three weathers. One is physical weathering, chemical weathering and biological weathering. In physical weathering includes wind, rain, thermal expansion and contraction, water freezing. Chemical weathering includes water, acids and gases. Biological weathering includes tree, roots and the lichens. Now let us study about what is humus. Can you see in the picture here what all you can see? You can see the leaves, you can see the sticks, all waste in what you see in the garden and all. Humus is the organic component present in the soil formed by the decomposition of plant materials by microorganisms present in the soil. So humus is nothing but the dead and decaying matter in the soil. So all the leaves fallen and all, you can see it in your houses also, in your garden and all. When you broom, what do you see? You will see lot of petals of the leaves, sticks and all. So this is nothing but this is the humus. It is a organic component which is present in the soil. How it is formed? By the decomposition of the plant materials by microorganisms which are present in the soil. Now let us study about soil profile. What is soil profile? Now first what you have to do is the soil profile. What is soil profile? The soil profile is the composition of different layers of soil in the vertical section. So what is soil profile? Different layers of the soil in the vertical section. Each layer is different from others because of its texture, color, depth and chemical composition. So these all layers, they are different from each other. Why? Because they are different in color, they are different in texture, they are different in depth and the chemical composition. So what you can see first, so here there is an activity. What you have, so this is activity 9.2. 9.1 was we have to collect the samples of the soil and observe it. The next activity is take a little soil, break the clumps with your hand to powder it. Now take a glass tumbler, 3/4 filled with the water and then add a handful of soil to it. Stir it well with the stick to dissolve the soil. Now let it stand undisturbed for some time. So it is there in the figure 9.2 in the textbook, page number 97. So what you can see the in this experiment when you do this activity, you can see the following things. That is, you see the layers of the particles of different size in the glass tumbler. So these are the layers of the soil. Which are those layers? First is humus, then you have water, then you have clay, then you have sand, and the last you have the gravel. Gravel means small pieces of stone. Can you see here? First humus, then second layer is water, then next to that you have clay, then you have sand, then you have gravel. You do this activity in your home, and in the next class I'll ask your observation what all you have seen in the soil. So now we have seen about the layers of the soil. Now let us study about the soil profile. Okay, now here can you see in the picture? Yeah, here is a picture of a soil profile. So first is horizon. Okay. Now first, what is a soil profile? A vertical section through the different layers of the soil is called as soil profile. So what is soil profile? A vertical section through the different layers of the soil is called soil profile. Then each layer will differ from each other, I have told you, in the color, in the texture, in the depth and the chemical composition. So these layers are referred to as horizons. So what are horizons? Each layer of the soil is different from each other. They differ in what all? Color, texture, depth and the chemical composition. So these layers are referred as horizons. So each layer in the soil profile is defined as horizon. So these layers of the soil in the soil profile is defined as horizon. So first comes the A horizon. This is the A horizon, or the top soil is the soft porous layer which can absorb and hold more water. So this layer, what it does, it is the top soil and it is soft and porous layer which can which absorbs and holds more water. The next one is horizon B, or the middle layer. This is more compact and it is harder layer. So this was soft, A horizon was soft and this B is hard and it is compact. C horizon is the third layer here. This is a C horizon. This is a third layer made up of small rocks. You can see here only the small rocks. Then D, that is called as here D. This is D. This is called as the bedrock. This is the fourth layer and this is the hardest layer. So now we have studied about the 4 horizons. That is soil. Each layer in the soil profile is defined as a horizon. So in the A horizon, this is soft and it absorbs more water and holds more water. B, this is the middle layer and it is more compact and it is hard layer. Then the third one, here you can see only made up of small rocks. C horizon is made up of only rocks. And the third one is D bedrock. Here this is the hardest layer. So these are the 4 horizons in the soil profile. So now let us see the soil profile. Now here is the animation of soil profile.
Soil profile. Let us look at the side view of the vertical section cut through the soil to the underlying solid rocks. It shows the soil profile. It consists of 3 layers called horizons. These horizons are lettered as A, B and C. The details of which are as follows. A horizon or top soil. A horizon is the uppermost layer and is usually darkest in color. The soil here is porous, soft and has more water holding capacity than the other layers. It contains a lot of humus which makes the soil fertile. B horizon or subsoil. It lies under the A horizon and is comparatively harder and more compact. It is lighter in color and is often grey or red. It contains more sand and also some stones. Subsoil is not suitable for plant growth as it contains very little organic matter. C horizon. C horizon is the lowermost part of the soil and lies beneath the subsoil. It is made up of stones and rocks. It contains no organic matter. However, minerals are found in this layer. Beneath this layer, bedrock is present.
Okay, now you might have seen the animation, isn't it? Did you follow the soil profile, about the soil profile? Now, last time also I had given you all questions, 15 questions, and many are having a doubt. So you have to see the textbook, listen the video, read the lesson, then write the answers to those questions in your rough note. Then you have to show for your elders. Sister has given the clear message about this, isn't it? She has told that you have to write the answers, show for your elders, then you have to write neatly in the notes. So children, you have to follow what sister has told you all. Now you have to write the lesson, first name of the lesson, that is wind, storm and cyclones, and write those 15 question and answers in your notes. After writing in your rough note, after checking, then you write in your notes neatly. Now for this lesson also again you will be getting now what I have explained today. Based on that you will have the questions which you have to write it, check it, then you have to write in the notes neatly. Okay, now the remaining lesson I will continue in the next class. Thank you.